Welcome to Business Unusual, the show, of course, that crunches the numbers on trending issues, of course, business issues. I am Oluwayemisi Adesanya, and here with me today is my co-anchor, Tunji Andrews. Tunji, the fuel situation is finally getting better. It's easing off. For me, my experience was really bad. It was really, really bad.
Mine was a lot worse because there wasn't power. So you had to use generators, and obviously you couldn't buy in
Why
kegs.
do you think you said mine? Like it was a general thing. Like there wasn't
Well,
power
I don't know. Okay, I was away for a while, so I came back and I just got in the deep end of that. And you know, general idea is that you're supposed to take your generator to the petrol station.
You just had a baby. Congrats.
Yeah.
All right, let's get straight to the hot topics. Okay, Nigeria plans a 9% tariff hike for consumer. It's a communication space. So that means that everything regarding SMS, SMSs, phone calls, and everything gets to increase by 9%. And I'm like, we always get the end of this.
Stick, yeah.
You know, it's always us.
I expected this was going to happen, especially if you're looking at the fact that the government is having issues with raising revenue.
Of course,
and new taxes was going to be, so everybody's going to start looking at how they can increase their taxes. So everybody's looking inwards now and saying, what can we tax?
But I see inwards as consumer words, you know.
Yeah, you are the only people they can tax.
We just went through the whole stamp. If I was still going through it, the stamp duty, the 50 naira that you get to pay now.
Maybe we should tax our viewers. Viewing tax, 2%.
Exactly, you know. Because at the end of the day, you need to pass it on.
Pass it on to someone,
So if government throws it at you, you also need to pass it on to someone.
Exactly.
And then,
so your calls are going to be 9% more expensive, your data 9% more expensive, your everything you do communication-wise is going to be 9% more expensive.
Yes, and of course, you little wonder why inflation is at...
and inflation numbers, National Bureau of Statistics released inflation numbers on Tuesday, coming in at 11.4%. I mean, that was from 9.6%. So it was a jump. It wasn't just... It was
expected, though.
But you know, a lot of people are seeing it inching up. We've been seeing it inching up. It goes 0.2% in percentage points higher. But this went from 9.6 to 11 point. It just skipped the whole 10% and went to 11.4. But what we're hearing is that it's a lot from electricity tariffs, which went up about 40%, fuels, a lot having to do with the scarcity. Books also went up, imported inflation, because most of those books are obviously made outside of Nigeria.
What does that mean? Break it down. Okay, so people get
imported
to
inflation, for instance, everything you buy from outside Nigeria, and because of the fact that the dollar is more expensive, you pay more, and like we said, pass it on. The person that buys it from wherever brings it in, and then naturally he'll pass on the cost to you. So an inflation is a test of what has been, not a test of what is to be. So it's a test of prices of last month. So you go around, check if prices have changed.
This is the highest we've seen it since 2012.
2012.
So where do we go from here? What are people saying about March? Because we're still seeing increased spending.
Well, one, if we do not do anything about imported inflation, for instance, in March also, I mean, fuel scarcity is just easing, but still the fuel scarcity in March is still going to impact inflation in this month. And obviously, and another problem again is that, you know, we talked about electricity tariff. People that it happened for in February were people that paid postpaid. So people that paid prepaid will start 1st of March. So they are going to get the full effects of that. So
what are you calling 12%?
I'm calling about 12.4%.
What does that mean for an economy, though? What does that mean for an economy?
Well, it means that the value of your money is less. Because money really is what you can use it to buy. The value of money is what you can use it to buy. So if 100 naira cannot buy anything anymore, that it doesn't make, it's no longer money.
100 naira used to buy a bag of pure water.
Exactly. Remember when I was a kid, I think a tin of milk was like 5 naira or 550 kobo or something like that. Now it's like 120 naira. What increases it over time is called inflation, right? So from last month to this month, if you had 100 naira and you didn't touch it, it's actually less now in terms of buying power. What you can buy with it is actually less.
Great. So you know exactly what your money is worth
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's why we always tell you when you go to save your money in a savings account, always check the inflation rate. If the savings value is less than inflation value, then don't save with that bank, because you're actually wasting money.
All right, thanks, Tunji. That is all on Hot Topics today. We would like to know your thoughts, of course, on these stories that we share week in, week out. Please tweet at us at BTVA Newsroom, or send a message on Facebook at www.facebook.com/BTVA Newsroom. When we come back from the break, we'll be talking with the founder and managing director of Joblink Recruitment Services. Of course, that's the first job center in Nigeria. Welcome back to the show, Business Unusual. Of course, it's the show that crunches the number. In a latest report by the World Bank, Nigeria needs to create between 40 to 50 million jobs between 2010 and 2030. And just a few days before that, the federal government announced it will provide about 3 million jobs over the next 3 years. Now, let's talk about feasibility, what needs to be put in place in terms of structures. Still here with me, of course, is my co-anchor, Tunji Andrews. And also joining us is Mary Dinah, founder and MD at Joblink Recruitment. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us.
Hey, thank you.
Before I come to you, Mary, first of all, Tunji, we keep hearing these numbers. You know, we need 40 to 50 million jobs within the next 20 years. We need government said they will be providing 3 million jobs within the next 3 years. I mean, how feasible is all of this?
When I first heard those numbers, I was a bit... I was taken aback, and I had to tweet at the VP, because the current job creation average is 1.4 million, or no, 1.6 million per annum. So for them to talk about 3 million jobs over 3 years was a bit worrying for me. Are they saying that they want to actually cut the numbers? But no, it's additional 1 million additional per year. So this is going to be private sector led. And so the NESG, that's the National Economic Summit Group, met with the VP and proposed something and said, okay, the private sector is going to push some sectors, create new businesses, and then employ people. But my fear with that is always the sustainability of these businesses, because we are hearing of factories closing down on a regular basis. I saw a report talking about the fact that 2 million people in Kaduna might lose their jobs. Or was it Kano now? I can't remember. But I mean, the challenge we're having consistently is not starting businesses. It is sustaining businesses, because the enabling environment
So you're saying it's possible, but then they need to put structures in place to ensure they sustain the business.
Putting the structures in place itself creates jobs. You know, that's how silly it is. Because if you're going to build a rail line from Lagos to Kano, in as much as you're going to try and automate your building processes, there will still be people doing that. There will be an accountant that will need to make sure that the money is in place. There will be a storekeeper to make sure that the nails are together. So that will create jobs, right? But I don't know. Sometimes I think we try to put the cart before the horse.
When we hear jobs, I mean, the youth, I'm a youth as well, but we get excited. You know, it's a good thing. But then, while he's saying it's possible, I think we also need to talk about, you know, positioning.
Well, I wanted to add to what he said. He's saying that it's possible, and my viewpoint is that it's necessary. It's very important. I mean, if you look at Lagos State, for example, Lagos State has about 10 to 12 million youths. And nationally, we have a 50% youth unemployment rate. So in Lagos alone, there are about 5 to 6 million unemployed youths. So as a nation, we're adding 3 million jobs. It sounds in isolation like it's a lot, but when you look at it, at the number of unemployed youths or unemployed job seekers across the country, it is still not even we're
not
still
the surface, yeah.
And so I think we should always look at it in terms of the necessity, and the government is trying their best possible to address that.
By the way, 1 million jobs per year is Kenya's target.
As well.
And you can imagine the vast difference in population. Yes, I have to put that out there.
Okay, so let's talk positioning. How should people, in terms of skill acquisition, you know, in terms of the proper training that needs to be put in place, what exactly should people be doing to occupy those positions?
Well, my issue is that we have to get people ready. So Joblink, for example, last year we trained 2,000 people on employability skills. This year we have a vision of training 500,000 people. And again, it sounds like big numbers, but even starting with Lagos, that is a very, very small percentage of the number of youths that are unemployed. So when you talk about what people can do to get themselves ready, these trainings are free, completely free for, you know, for anyone that wishes to attend. The first thing they should do is attend. You know, so when the government creates trainings, when companies like myself, you know, puts trainings forward, people should come and actually attend it. Also, speaking with employers, we know that for the lower sector, lower tier jobs, the single most relevant reason why people don't get jobs is personal appearance. And we've done the research, and all the time the employers say to us, they send somebody back because the person wasn't presentable.
I was going to ask about feedback. Do you get feedback from people that you've trained to say, oh, it worked for me? You know,
absolutely.
I applied some of the things.
Absolutely. And even on our website, we have a success stories page, and we have hundreds of success stories, people's testimonies of jobs that they received, and also the intrinsic things, the things that you can't see, how the training made them feel. You know, if you can engage people, you've already helped them immensely. There's some people that have never been in formal education beyond primary school, and they're still in the labor market because now they're old enough to get a job. Asking them to come for a training and teaching them about teamwork or leadership, personal appearance, communication, those are really key things. And those people then go home and think, wow, you know, these people, they thought about me, they gave me something, they gave me a tool that I can use to better my life. You know what, tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to find something to do.
I was going to ask something. I saw somewhere, I was reading about a foreign company which decided to take away first degree as its entry-level criteria, saying that it didn't feel that it was a necessary criteria to get in the best hands. Do you think that that will transcend to Nigeria, where people would say, okay, I'm looking out for capability rather than certification?
I agree entirely, and I think that it must. It should and it must. And that's also the role that job centers play. You know, so we're sort of like the mediator. When I talk to employers and they say they want a receptionist and the minimum requirement is a degree, I say no. Why? What about that job requires a degree in chemistry or in economics? My background is hospitality. I have a master's in hotel management. And working at the Marriott in Canary Wharf in London, I probably was the only person in the hotel that had a degree. I know certainly the general manager didn't have a degree. You know, so they used to look at me like, okay.
And you take it too seriously here. Like and then you hear things like an added advantage. You get an added advantage if you have a master's degree or you speak some other languages and all of that. Yeah, I know that it could be specific for certain roles, but when you find that you check like 3 openings and then it's the same thing over and over again, and you wonder why, what exactly people are looking for.
No, I stand up to the employers and I say, no, you don't need this for this particular job role. I'll find you the best person for this role. They might not have a degree, or they might. And they, you know, they trust us. So it's good to have more and more companies that are really in that gap, that are able to stand up to the employers and say, if you don't need it, don't ask for it.
I agree. You talked about training, you know. Obviously, your company as a job center offers training. Tunji, the federal government mentioned that the sectors they will be focusing on will be the agro-allied, the technology. What do you think are the opportunities there, you know, that people really need to look out for and begin to?
First of all, agriculture has a massive value chain, all the way from the end to the beginning. I mean, we're talking about things like starting from commodity exchanges, that takes even very specialized trading skills, IT capabilities, You have to trade real time, coming down to issues like commodity boards, coming down to the markets, organizing that, coming down to transportation, coming down to, I mean, all the way from the end to the beginning, there's a massive value chain in agriculture, for instance. And I did know that the government had spoken about them planning to do stuff around that value chain before they came into office. I hope they're still looking at that, because that alone can build jobs. From people that are going to sell fertilizer, people that are going to sell the seedlings, people that are going to labor, seasonal labor for the harvest and the planting. I mean, there's so many things that you can do from the beginning to the end.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, if you can, as a government, create, which is the biggest issue at most of the time, is land for these people to farm on, then you start to create some sort of way to...
A certain siblings.
Yeah, to help them get through with this. But again, like I always say, I always believe in starting from the end and tracing it back to the beginning. So you want, what is the ultimate way you want it to be sold in the market? How do you want agricultural produce to be sold in Nigeria? Do you want it to still be the markets where things can go rotten, or do you want it to be a structured market? So if it's a structured market, then create the structured market first and then start tracing it back to the farms. And along the line, you're creating jobs at every point.
And there has to be a shift from formal sector to informal sector. That's important. There has to be a shift from white-collar jobs to blue-collar jobs.
True.
So if everybody's fighting for jobs in offices, there will always be an unemployment situation.
Your trainings, are they sector specific?
No, they're not. So what we did was we met with the team at the British Council, and they had done extensive research on the key things employers are looking for when they want to recruit people and also to keep people on a job. And we built the training around that, and it cuts across any job type. And so what are these topics? It includes, like we said, teamwork, leadership, using your initiative on the job, problem solving, communication, elocution, deportment. Those are the key basic things that you need for any job. And we, because of my background, we added a little aspect of service excellence and customer service, because it's just a pet peeve of mine. You know, I think for any role, you really have to know how to speak to your customers. Yes,
and I think in a way that skill is still fairly lacking in Nigeria.
Yeah, very fair.
So you're currently, like you mentioned, you have a dream of training like 500,000 people this year alone.
Yes.
But is that only within Lagos, or you're looking at other states as well?
We're looking at other states as well. As a company, in terms of our job centers, we placed satellite job centers in other states already. Some in the north, some in the south, some in the east. We picked about 16 states, and we had representatives and satellite job centers there for a period of time, just to build our popularity in those states. So we're definitely national. On our website as well, when people apply, of course, they apply from all different states. And we're looking to expand to do the trainings nationwide as well.
How do you go about funding though?
Well, we have some business angels. We have some companies that we're speaking to in various sectors, in oil and gas and construction, and they've been very supportive. All of them say the same thing. They say that youth unrest must stop, and they agree that engaging the youth is useful across the line. It's going to help to reduce the crime rates. It's going to help to get them back in jobs. It's going to help the economy. So there's a real focus on the youths, and I'm glad that they've been able to be supportive.
And I'm particularly happy about the fact that the focus should be on not soft skills. Not the blue-collar jobs, but more technical jobs. So because that's really what we're lacking. I was speaking to a Dutch guy recently, and you know, he asked me what I do, and I told him, and he was like, "You see, that's the problem with you Nigerians. Every single one of you has soft skills. Nobody has it." And if you look at it in the real sense, we have nobody building anything. There are very few engineers these days. I mean, if you look at your class and you look at the engineering students that were in your set, you realize that they were a very minute number compared to the economics department. So if we can have more plumbers, more engineers, more carpenters, I think we'll do a lot better.
And vocational trainings as well, so that people can work on those things.
Great. Okay, because it's business unusual, we're allowed to ask one very unusual question. So what do you do for fun?
Oh,
don't say training.
no. For fun, I'm very athletic, so I play squash.
Oh, great.
I also ride horses.
Yes, you look here.
Thank you.
You look great.
I ride horses as well. I really enjoy that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I know what he does.
What do you do?
Till next week, people.
All right, you've been watching Business Unusual. Of course, it's the show that crunches the numbers. I've been speaking with Mary Dinah. She's the MD of Joblink Recruitment. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us. And of course, my co-anchor, Tunji Andrews, has been here as well, sharing some insight on job and what needs to be done, you know, to contribute to the economy at large, of course. You've been watching Business Unusual. Till next time when we come your way again, keep doing business sometimes in the unusual way.